Achieving success in business is really about building relationships. Relationship marketing is enhanced when you use the right tools. And the number one tool we know is LinkedIn for getting out there and connecting with people. Well, there's a lot in LinkedIn that I didn't know about when I found out about it with this interview. I got a chance to talk to Julia Cabral. She's a senior marketing product manager there at LinkedIn, and she showed me some things. I've been using LinkedIn for years, and I go, oh, I didn't know that. New features, new ways of doing it. You are going to want to enjoy this. Sit down, get your pen and paper ready to go, or your note-taking device of choice. Maybe pull up lunch and have a lunch and learn, have something to drink, and get ready to learn a lot about building relationships using LinkedIn as I talk to Julia Cabral, Senior Product Marketing Manager at LinkedIn. Being successful in small business means that you need to connect with people. It's really about relationships, building relationships. One of the greatest tools that I think all of us are using today is LinkedIn. They like to call it a software package or a network or something. And yeah, it's all of those, but really, LinkedIn is about connecting with people. It's a relationship builder, a relationship maintainer. It does a lot of things that you can do for you. And I have a real treat for you. If you want to build your business and grow it even more, I've got someone joining me that knows what is going on with LinkedIn and can really help you. Her name is Julia Cabral. And Julia is joining us right now. She is a product marketing manager out there with LinkedIn. Really good to have you with us today, Julia.
Thanks so much for having me, Terry.
Well, this is exciting. I mean, how cool is it? We get a chance to talk to someone who really, really knows about what's going on. Matter of fact, before we started the recording, you showed me some of the really neat features that I want to share with our viewers of what's going on. Before we get into all the detail, tell us what are some of the coolest things you see happening right now with LinkedIn?
Sure. Well, I think video is huge on LinkedIn right now. We're seeing great results when anyone's sharing video. I personally shared a video that I will show you a little snippet of later. And I will say that I've seen a huge spike in the number of people viewing my profile and engaging with my content on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till you see it. Those of you watching this, wait till you see this and what it can do. I mean, I'm just blown away. I've realized video is powerful, but even more so now. Well, Julia, you've got some slides to show us of some of the features of LinkedIn that kind of really emphasize that. Go ahead and, if you would, please share your screen with us now. And you and I will just talk about these slides as we go through them, where you're showing us the importance of how to use LinkedIn properly and all of that.
Sounds great. And as I'm pulling this up, I just want to say, I think LinkedIn is a great partner to small business. And I think LinkedIn has a great ability to help small business leaders grow their business, whether that's growing your number of customers or hiring additional employees, or simply just connecting with your peers who can give you great, trustworthy advice. So with that, I'm going to talk us through some of the best tips that we want all small business leaders to use on LinkedIn to make sure that they get the most out of the website. So with that, I'm going to start us with an example. We're going to talk to Derek, who is fictional, but based on true story. And Derek is the owner and CEO of Miller Design, which is a design agency in Minneapolis. So let's pretend that I am looking to hire a design agency. I know I've heard about Derek through the grapevine, and I go to actually Google Derek Miller in Minneapolis. Many people start a search on Google, and the great thing about LinkedIn profiles is that they're really they're engineered to show up at the top of search results. So let's say I Googled Derek Miller Minneapolis, I would very likely come to his LinkedIn profile. And if Derek hasn't taken the chance to fill out his LinkedIn profile, this is what I would see. And you can tell from the screen, there's not a lot of detail for me to glean from this. And as the small business owner, you're really the face of your business. So your personal brand reflects your business brand as well. So we think it's critical that as a small business owner, you have a great profile. And this is a fantastic chance for you to lend your credibility to your business.
Yeah,
So,
as a matter of fact, Julie, if I can interrupt you right there real quick, that's extraordinarily important because when you put that profile together, that's what people are looking at. And they're looking for certain elements that, hey, can this person solve my problem? So thank you for what you're saying there. And I would encourage those of you that are watching this, now would be a good time to go back and take a look at your own profile and maybe figure out ways that you can polish it up and enhance it if you haven't done that in a while.
Absolutely. And business is all about people and relationships, and people want to do business with other people that they know, like, and trust. So putting your own face on LinkedIn and showing that you're a person who's likable and trustworthy is a great step toward building better business relationships.
Good point.
So let's walk through all the things we would encourage Derek to do in this situation. First, putting a face to a name is super important. Members with a photo get 9 times more connection requests, more views to their profile, and more messages sent to them on LinkedIn.
Wow, that's important for those that said, hey, I don't want to put my picture out there. Well, you just heard it directly from Julia. It's very important. You're getting a lot more response that way.
And it doesn't have to be a professional headshot. Any photo that's close up of your face with, a simple background that hasn't cropped out, your dog or the bar, anything that focuses on you and shows you. You don't have to be wearing a suit. It just needs to be a nice professional looking photo that
Yeah.
features.
Let me ask you on this, because I know a lot of people wonder, over on Facebook, it's a different platform, a different kind of environment. LinkedIn, we think more, this is business and serious. Do you find that on LinkedIn, the serious business-oriented works better? Or at what element would we put in there, some of the fun, crazy pictures, things like that? Or would you say, yeah, stay away from that?
I think you want to be able to showcase your personality. So for instance, my profile has a really colorful background. I have a big necklace on to show that, I like to dress up and wear jewelry. But I wouldn't probably have a photo of me with a drink in hand or with my dog in the background or something like that.
Yeah, keep it around business oriented and professional, fun, but
Right.
professional. Thank you.
Exactly. Great. So next, a really critical piece here is adding your industry. And it seems small, but members who have their industry filled out get up to 9 times more profile views. So again, just make sure you have that industry field filled out on your profile. The next thing I'll recommend is that you have this summary section. This is an amazing opportunity to tell your story. As a small business leader, why did you decide to start your business? What motivated you? And the other great thing about this is this section allows you to add keywords that will then help your profile rank higher in searches. So if you are a graphic designer that focuses on websites, make sure to include those keywords in your summary so that if someone Googles or searches for website design near me, your profile is more likely to show up.
Julia, let me ask you on that, going on that. Sometimes in SEO, they'll tell us if you are a website designer, for instance, you might say website designer, those 3 words in that order. Other times you might also say, I design websites, or I have worked designing websites for many years. So that way, whatever way they're Googling it, you might be able to reach them. Would you recommend that?
Absolutely. That's a great tip.
Very good.
Great. So next, another thing we recommend is to create a company page. So we've been talking about your profile. You can also create a company page, which gives your business a brand. So that when you post on LinkedIn, and if Derek were to post, he would talk about Low Design being his company. If you create a page for Low Design, that gives you a really nice area for you to build out the brand of your business, not just of yourself as the business owner. Then once you've built out that company page, you can show that you're the founder and the CEO or whatever your role may be in terms of your experience. This will show up on your profile. And again, if you fill out that work experience, you're more likely to see more connection requests, more profile views, and more messages. Once again, this is a great place to include keywords as well.
Very good.
I'll add here that you also have the option to add media. So if you are in a very visual field like graphic design, this is a great opportunity to add some more visual links to your website, videos, or photos can all be uploaded here.
Once again, we hear that magic word, video.
Yes.
Really important. And don't forget, kids, those of you watching, she's got something really important coming up on video in just a moment.
Absolutely. And so the final thing here is that you can add skills and then ask for endorsements. So for Derek, he might add the skill that he's great at sustainable design or website design, and then ask people who have worked with him to endorse him and recommend him. And this is great as a small business owner. You can actually ask your clients that you've worked with to recommend you and have them write testimonials about working with you. Once again, this just really helps establish your credibility and your brand as the business owner.
Yeah, and Julie, I'm going to interrupt you again there because that is so important. Those of you that are watching that, listen to what she just said. You want to put that in there, but not just have people say, yeah, I worked with Terry and he's a nice guy. That doesn't mean anything, but it's like Terry worked with Oogie Boogies and it helped us to get our goals on Oogie Boogies or whatever it is. The more specific it can be, the better off. Julia, thank you very much for saying that.
Sure thing. So next, I really want to talk about growing your network. And Terry, you alluded to this. Business is all about connections and who you're connected to, and that's one of the strongest points of LinkedIn. So let's talk about who you should connect with, how to find those people, and then some etiquette around connections. So it's great to think about connecting with people that you already know, existing folks. So whether they're your recent clients, maybe your suppliers, fellow business owners in your community, friends, family, colleagues, alumni, a lot of great options of people that you already know that are great to connect with on LinkedIn. And the reason to connect with them, as you can imagine, Terry, for instance, I knew we were going to meet this morning, so I looked you up on LinkedIn. Imagine we had a connection in common. Imagine you knew my sister or something like that. LinkedIn would actually be able to show me that connection, and that would have been the first thing I brought up when we got on the phone this morning.
Oh, very important. I like that. Matter of fact, for those of you watching, that's something that I have done, and my knowledge of LinkedIn is like on a 1 to 100 scale, maybe around a 2 or a 3, where Julia's at a 99 or 100. But what she's saying is so important. When I've had sales calls, I would look up those people that I knew were going to be in the group. It was more like a group was going to make the decision. I'm talking to a bunch of them. You know the situation, and be able to find out their area of interest. And I found, remember once, there was somebody that was in a particular association. Well, I just happened to know somebody in that association that was a fellow professional speaker. And so I mentioned that I worked there and all the work that I did in that industry. And guess what? Got the job. It was great. So Julia, again, I'm putting an exclamation mark behind what you're saying.
Great. You can imagine as a small business owner, if you're meeting with someone that you're really trying to sell your product to, and you find out that you both went to the same college 5 years apart, what a great connection that you can bring up when you actually meet with that person.
Yep, exactly. It's all about connections, all about those relationships. Even if you say, oh, they went to a rival school, hey, you can have some fun with that too.
You sure can. And then the other thing I'll recommend is that it's great to connect with new people that you meet as you're going through everyday life. So if you go to an event and you network with people, maybe you exchange business cards, you should also connect on LinkedIn, because unlike a business card, you can't lose your LinkedIn. Just any other potential mentors, peers, people who view your profile, influencers you find interesting. There are a multitude of different people that you can connect with on LinkedIn that can help you further your business and grow your network.
Very good.
Great. So let's talk about some easy ways to add connections quickly. One is what we call address book import. So if you go to the My Network tab within LinkedIn, it actually allows you to enter your email, and we'll ask you a couple of prompts. And from there, we can actually see who's in your email address book and show you all of those people, and you'll be able to really easily select who you want to send an invitation to. So that's just a much faster way to send connection requests at greater scale. So that's one option you have. There's also the People You May Know page, and that uses LinkedIn's algorithm to recommend people that we think you might know. And you'll be surprised at how effective that algorithm can be. Sometimes it's surprising to see the people that LinkedIn recommends to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I find there's some people there and others I'm going, no, I really don't want to get in touch with him. Yeah, no, thank you. So it's right. But LinkedIn says, we don't know. We didn't know that he said those nasty things to you in the car there on the last year or so, but that's all right. But there are really good options. I've had many times that LinkedIn suggests you might know so-and-so. I go, yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Haven't seen her in a while. We need to connect, and real good results can come from that.
Absolutely. And then the last thing you can do is you can search. So if you know the first name and the last name or the company of the person you want to connect with, you can just use our search functionality to go actually type the person's name in and look for them. And as you can see on the screen, you can filter by location, or you can enter a specific industry if you're trying to find people in your local community or in your field. Great. So the last thing I'll cover here is some etiquette in terms of how to connect with others. So this is really important because when you send a connection request, LinkedIn actually gives you a prompt and allows you to customize it. This is a great opportunity because otherwise you're just sending out a connection request that doesn't have any information. This is a great opportunity to customize your message, be really sincere and personal, and highlight any of those commonalities that you found. So if you're reaching out to someone who went to the same school as you, or maybe went to your rival school, this is a great opportunity to mention that commonality. It's also a great place to pull the small business card. So if you're trying to connect with a fellow small business owner, call that out. Hey, Terry, I noticed that you are also a small business owner in the local community. I'd love to pick your brain on XYZ. I think that is a really effective message to add in
Yeah,
these.
absolutely. Because you're finding those areas of commonality. Matter of fact, those of you that are watching this, here's a good chance. Here's what I'd recommend. Use that screen capture thingy you got there. Yeah, you paid money for that thing, so use it right now. This is a good matter of fact. I'm going to close our video off. Okay, there we go. So now there's your chance to get a screen capture of that. Julia, great job on this slide.
Awesome. The other thing I'll also recommend is it's better not to send requests to people that you don't know without context. So if you're going to reach out to someone new, make sure you add the context about why you're reaching out to them. Try not to be overly salesy. No one appreciates that in general. And then always try and spell their name right. When I get connection requests that are addressed to Julie, I often don't accept them. So make sure you check the spelling of everyone's name.
I often get to Terry and dear Miss Terry, and they'll even misspell Terry. I'm going, you got it wrong on both accounts there, Sparky. Not going to cut it there. But now let me ask you this, something that's important. I'm, as I mentioned, a professional speaker. And a lot of times professional speakers will say, well, should you accept everyone? I tend to err on the side of accepting everyone. The reason? I don't know who is wanting to link with me because they saw me and liked me and are likely to buy some of my products, books, etc. that was in that audience last week over in Memphis or something. And so I tend to say, I'm going to accept everyone until they prove that I don't want to be around them. What are your thoughts on that for someone who might be in that area? You're trying to get business and you're seeing a lot of people that they want to join you because they were in the audience.
Sure. I think it's a personal preference. If you're someone who is okay with having a wider network full of connections that might be a little less close to you, that's certainly fine. You'll always have the ability to remove a connection later on. So it's really a personal preference. You're more than welcome to accept requests of people that you don't know really well. Some other people prefer to make sure their network is full of people that they know personally and have a strong connection with. I think it's really just a personal preference there.
Thank you. I appreciate that because that makes a lot of sense. It is personal. I could see if I were maybe a medical doctor, I wouldn't want everyone in the world connecting. No, I want my patients, my colleagues. I might want to connect with other physicians or people like that. But if I'm a professional speaker and I'm working hard, I'm a coach, and I want to get more and more people following me, that would be a different thing. So thank you very much for clarifying that.
Absolutely. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is how to make sure your newsfeed on LinkedIn is full of interesting, relevant stories. So the first thing we'll recommend that you do is you can follow relevant people and sources. And again, we've recommended a bunch of different sources that are specific to small business here. So you can follow the National Small Business Administration, Fast Company. We've thrown a couple names on the screen of small business influencers that post really interesting content that might be interesting for you to follow. Following is different than connecting because it's not a two-way street. So if I'm following you, Terry, then I'll be able to see the content that you post in your feed, but you won't see the content that I post because I'm just following you. So that's different from a connection. But there are a lot of great sources all over LinkedIn for small business leaders to follow.
Very good. I like that. Thanks for that reminder because often there is going to be an association or a company or competitors you want to know. So following competitors, good idea. Something about The Godfather and keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. The next thing I'll mention is joining relevant groups. We have a ton of groups on LinkedIn, and there are many that are dedicated to the small business audience. So we've got a couple listed on the screen. Entrepreneur and Small Business Forum is a great one. LinkedIn Small Business Innovators. There are many more. So search for groups that are relevant to your industry or being a small business owner and engage in discussions there. The next thing I'll cover is just easy ways to interact with your newsfeed. This is pretty simple, but you can always like and comment. That's an easy way to jump in and join the conversation. One great tip is to pay attention to new jobs of past clients. So if you've had a great client, a great relationship with someone who leaves their company and goes to a new company, you can actually find that out on LinkedIn and then go try to sell to the same person at their new company and potentially bring on a new account. So paying attention to those job changes is a really important thing to do.
Good point.
Okay. Last thing here is some guidance on what to post and how to post. So again, LinkedIn is a professional network, so the stories, the ideas tend to have more of a business context, but it's great to talk about what matters to you in terms of your business, your career, your industry, etc. Like I mentioned, videos perform really well, so we really encourage video posting. And if you're not going to post a video, photos really garner more engagement as well. So we encourage both photo and video, and make sure to tag people who are relevant to your post using that little @ symbol, and then of course hashtags. So LinkedIn is all about hashtags lately, so make sure you choose relevant ones, and you can see on the screen there's some examples.
Very good point.
All right, I think we're ready to go through the additional tips, which are some of the most fun things that I want to share with small business owners about
Oh
LinkedIn.
yeah, these are good. Well, we went through this before. Those of you watching this
We got a
beforehand,
preview.
so we could just see what it is. This is way cool. So, Julia, really want you to tell us about this. I love it.
Here we go. So let's talk about who's viewed my profile. This is a feature that's really specific to LinkedIn that you can't find on other social networks. We'll actually show you who's viewed your profile. And this can be incredibly important. Imagine that you're a small business owner and you've been really trying to sell into a specific company and having trouble getting traction. One day you notice that your key buyer at that company has viewed your profile. This is the perfect signal that now's the right time to reach out again, because they're interested in you, they're showing that signal. It's a perfect opportunity to restart that conversation. So who's viewed my profile is a really important feature that we think can be used really strategically.
Yeah, sounds good. And also beforehand, before we did the recording, you and I were talking about that we can get that, and you can have, what would you say, like 3 people that you can see that have viewed your profile on the free version?
If you're a free member of LinkedIn, 5 people.
Oh, 5 people. Okay. Is that per month? 5 per month?
No, just the most recent 5 will show up.
Oh, okay. The most recent 5. But if you want more than that, it would be one of the premium services, either
Right.
career or business, and that's roughly $60 or so a year.
A month. Yeah.
Or a
So
month,
LinkedIn.
I'm sorry. Yeah. But for me, it would only be 60 a year, right? Yeah, because I'm such a nice guy.
We'll have
Probably
to
not.
talk to the team and see if we can get
We'd
specific.
have to talk to the team. Yeah, never mind. A really good service. And many people say, yes, it's well worth it, because think about it. Okay, $60. If you're in an industry where you could make a whole lot more than that, it can be really, really worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, LinkedIn Premium, both our premium career and premium business plans will give you visibility into everyone who's viewed your profile over the last 90 days. Awesome. So next I want to talk about ProFinder. ProFinder is a product that not everyone knows about. But imagine, again, you're a small business owner, you're just getting started, you've got this great idea for a company, you've got a name, now you need a logo. You have no idea how to design a logo. ProFinder is our service that allows small business leaders to find freelancers and contract-based work, to hire experts that can help them tackle the projects that they don't have the resources to do. So in this example, you would go on ProFinder, search for a graphic design service, and you'd be able to get matched with a logo designer that could help you design a logo. That's just one example. We cover many, many verticals. So accounting is a great one, a ton of different marketing services, design, software developers. We have all sorts of freelancers on ProFinder.
Yeah, and Julia, we were talking about this before. This is a marvelous service. And those of you saying, hey, this is the first time I've seen this. Now, of course, when I see that, I think of Elancer, I think of Upwork, I think of Fiverr, tools like that. And those are good, nothing against them. But think about what you're getting here with LinkedIn. You're getting the ability to say, oh, there's Susie who says she's really good at doing website design. Well, you can go on LinkedIn, and now you're finding out, wait a minute, Susie has worked with all these people that I know. So then you could contact them and say, hey, I see you worked with Susie. How was it? And get a chance to do that. Something you could do with LinkedIn that you're not going to get a chance to do as easily with some of the other services. This is a really nice feature I didn't know. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that added trust of being able to look up your freelancer's profile on LinkedIn and even discover that they might be a second or third degree connection to you is really powerful. In addition, I'll add that we actually have a team of human beings who checks to make sure every freelancer is qualified, so you know that the people you're working with are trustworthy and vetted.
Wow, real human beings. You mean like
Yeah,
before robots? There was, yeah, that's it.
you
Before
remember
the
that.
AI and all of that? That's good. Really important point, though, from a business point of view. Thank you.
The last thing I'll cover is something we've talked about a couple times already. It's video. Video has been performing really well on LinkedIn. It's being shared 20 times more than any other type of content. And I myself posted a video this week in honor of National Small Business Week, which has been going on all week. I actually have a side job when I'm not at LinkedIn. I work at a small business. I'm a cycling teacher at a local fitness studio. So I shared a video of myself in the cycling studio, really just as a thank you and a shout out to our CEO and COO and our entire crew. And I have to tell you, the views of my profile, when I checked who's viewed my profile, it had increased by over 400% week on week after I posted this video. And
400% increase.
400%.
Those of you small business owners, did you hear that? Your ears should have gone, "Ding!" You know, the 400% increase. And by the way, that is not an anomaly. What Julia is saying is exactly right. The videos really increase that attention. Good for you on doing that, Julia.
Thanks. And the great thing is that you'll be able to see how many views your video has, as well as how many likes and comments. So it's great to see all the interaction that I've gotten with this post.
Oh, that would be good, because it's a very good feedback mechanism to find out, wow, I got this many views on this one, but only this many on that video.
Absolutely.
So that way you're doing your market research in the real world.
Absolutely.
Very
That's
good.
all I've got for you in terms of tips on LinkedIn, but I would love to answer any other questions you may have. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see your face again.
Yeah, we go back there and then stop sharing. But thank you for doing that and sharing the screen, because that's important. Well, let me ask you this. We've all used LinkedIn. I think most people have used it that are in business. What do you see are one of the major problems that people have, and how would they get around that? Any difficulties that they have that you see, hey, they often do this, but you can fix it by doing this. What would that be?
Yeah, I think people tend to think about LinkedIn as your static resume and something that documents your work history, and they're just really not taking advantage of all that connectivity you can create. And we know that small business leaders love to use word of mouth, love to talk to their peers, and LinkedIn is a great way to do all that just in a digital way. So I don't know that it's a problem that needs to be fixed. Rather, it's just people not taking full advantage of everything that LinkedIn can offer.
Yeah, precisely. Not so much a problem, but it is something that, hey, we need that gentle nudge, and you've given us a little gentle nudge, Julie, in a wonderful professional way, and be able to say, okay, hey, this is what you want to consider is keep it updated, keep it fresh. And that's something where I have to plead guilty. I haven't done that as much, and want to do it even more. Well, any final words that you would leave for our audience before you have to go for some other meetings, I know, but what would you say is a word for us to remember for that small business owner? She's out there, she works hard, she doesn't have a whole lot of time, but she likes LinkedIn, wants to do even more with it. What would you say to her?
So I would say just think about all the different people that you interact with as a small business owner, whether it's your clients, whether it's your employees, whether it's your peers. Think about all of those different people and then make connections with them on LinkedIn, because a LinkedIn connection means you'll never lose touch. Your email doesn't change, or your email might change, but your LinkedIn URL will always stay the same.
I like that. A LinkedIn connection means you'll never lose touch. I like that. That's tweetable, by the way, to speak of another platform over there. Really good information. And by the way, those of you watching this is something that's real good. It's the kind of video you don't want to watch just once. Go back over it. And I would encourage you to hit that space bar and stop it and take some notes or write it on somewhere, because this can really translate to increased sales for you. Julia Cabral, you are a wonderful person doing this for us and showing us what's there. We really appreciate you being with us today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Terry. It's been great to talk with you.
Yeah, and those of you that are watching this, think about what we've just done here. This is what business is about. It's about connecting. The most successful people I've seen in business are those who really stress relationships, building those relationships, the connections, being there with others. And LinkedIn is one of the most powerful tools ever invented to do that. Use these tips. Hey, I'm looking into that Pro Finder. I had not tried that before. That's a good little thing. I want to look into that myself. And some of the other features that she showed, this is news to me. Well, I'm Terry Brock, reporting for Business Journals at terrybrock.com. Thank you very much for being with us today.